I am often asked about bedtime during my consultations. What I invite parents to do is to try and understand just how precious nighttime is to a PDA and autistic person. All of the demands and pressures of the day have gone to sleep. The night supplies us with that of which we are denied during the day: breathing space, time to be our true selves, and the opportunity to escape from the shackles and tedium of conformity. It is a time of day that most of us can reclaim total ownership of our lives. Why would we pass up such an opportunity? We get to be ourselves without judgment, do the things we really want to do, in our own time, without the scourge of humanity around to stop us or slow us down. On a sensory level too, there is a peace, calm and stillness of which the daytime is impoverished. Also, this is the time when our imaginations are at their most fecund, and now that there are no human beings, time limits or unsolicited sensory distractions around to interrupt us or divert us, we can finally get to work. For many of us autistic people, but not all, our all-nighters or vigils are not nighttime problems. At night, we simply make the most of what we cannot do or are denied of during the day. When people ask me, how do I get my child to go to sleep at a normal time, the question to me makes no sense. It is likely that it is the daytime that needs fixing. The nighttime for us autistic people is often just a delayed start to a normal day. It's the daytime that's the problem. Even though I generally get in bed at roughly the same time every night and wake up at roughly the same time every morning, I do not have a bedtime. I would never get in bed with the intention of going to sleep, as that would generate a demand effect. I get in bed to read, watch a Netflix series or film, or speak to someone on the phone. Being PDA, it is crucial for me to disengage my mind where possible. Thoughts themselves often become what we call self-imposed demands, which, if I'm being pernickety, is something of a fallacy. If we tell ourselves to do things in our head, or loudly state that we want or intend to do something, these thoughts operate like external agents, the same as a demand coming from another person, imposing their will on the self, or us. Our thoughts are not us, as it were, because they are fleeting and labile. Demands cannot be approached head-on. They must be indirectly met. Intending to sleep, write, read, or do chores will be interpreted as demanding if they are regarded as primary goals. Instead, it is better for us to set the atmosphere and create the conditions under which things can happen or get done. Sleep, creativity, or whatever the task at hand is, cannot be reached for. They can only reach for us when we are ready for them. I would never sit down to write. It would never work. Instead, I have to create the conditions under which writing can happen. How can I pave the way for inspiration to strike me at a moment's notice is a far better question than how can I get myself to churn something out right now. And scheduling is out of the question. Writing is done when writing chooses to use me as a conduit through which it can impose itself on the world. Demands cause neurological constipation. Inspiration serves as the laxative. To recap, I never get in bed to go to sleep. Doing so would generate a demand effect. I have no bedtime, even though I tend to, on average, get in bed at the same time every night and rise from it at the same time each morning. For the record, I rarely set an alarm either. In order for me to create the conditions under which sleep can happen, I have to ensure that sleep is not top of my priority list. It is not a primary focus or a destination. It is the byproduct of something else. I have to trust that if I'm not an insomniac, sleeping will be a byproduct of or natural physical response to reaching a certain level of calm and relaxation. These things are reached by tweaking the sensory environment and simply doing things that I find soothing. When I was little, my mother quickly realised the futility of bedtimes. She would often let me fall asleep on her lap on the sofa, and when I was older, an agreement for me to read my favourite books and comics in my room was more effective than expecting me to go to sleep. The main message I want people to take away is that tasks, chores, activities, whatever you want to call them, can never be approached directly or head-on. This is what turns them into demands. The demand can never be achieved if we view them as the end of the road. They can, however, be used as vehicles or a means to a destination of our own choice. They are more achievable when used as supplements. In a wider context, demands make sense. Why does this need to be done? And where is this task leading me to? If they are seen as standalone, terminal activities, doing them feels impossible. Demands can be converted into stepping stones when we situate them in a wider context and view them as means to something purposeful and fruitful, and not as arbitrary, uninteresting destinations of someone else's choosing.